So Kira, there are obviously some quite brutal interview processes, or historically, there has, we heard the PTC days. There are some that actually maintain some of those techniques. So is that indicative of leadership, or is that, is that acceptable in this day and age, or what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's really nuanced, because actually what they were trying to do in the past is figure out, and it may not have been to the most sophisticated level at the time, and I think it's fair to say that nearly every organization that I know in this space has evolved somewhat in the last number of years, and taken the learnings from that in the past. But what's really important is to know, why did they do that at the time? Because people seem to assume that it was some megalomaniac decided to do it just for fun. It really wasn't. You'd have to understand the nature of the environment at the time. When I sit back and I listen to podcasts from people at the PTC days, and I see how their ICE criteria very much focused on the character piece, on needing people that had the strength and the will to bulldoze and win at any cost. The marketplace and the environment almost called for that, as far as I understand at the time. And so you didn't want people to come in a really soft way into an organization to be shocked and surprised by the level of execution and expectation, and actually how vicious the market space was at that time. It seemed to me, when I look at it, that it was people trying to make sure, and really make sure, that when they bring people into an organization, they're fully committed to those individuals, because they're going to make a huge investment in terms of enablement for those individuals. Whereas a lot of other sales organizations, it was nice and fluffy coming in, but as soon as you didn't perform, you were out the door. Whereas what I've seen a lot in these medic-based organizations is they were performing at the top ends of their market space. It was incredibly competitive and aggressive. What they were bringing people into was not necessarily the nicest world, and they were preparing them for that, and that they wanted to make sure in that interview process that they're bringing in people that have the capacity to deal with that environment. Now, fortunately, the world has moved on, the market has moved on, and the expectations that we have of salespeople have evolved. And we also recognize that that type of environment also created a lot of churn, which didn't become sustainable. So what we've evolved to doing is understanding both how we can make sure that we're getting the right candidates for the company that we're working in, how we bring in the right candidates, and how we evolve our understanding of our ICE criteria to make sure that they're the best fit to be successful. How do we make sure that we prepare them for that marketplace by giving them the support around it, by making them feel safe to say when they're struggling? For example, our ICE criteria has evolved from what I heard in the old podcast around that real focus on just heavy character, to now it's much more nuanced around intelligence, IQ and EQ. In the space that we work within, for example, the vast majority of individuals have doctorates in data science. They're incredibly bright individuals. And like I said, we need to become true trusted advisors. So being able to focus heavily on IQ and EQ, as well as the other aspects of ICE, really enables us to find the right fit for the environment in which we work.